It's one thing to say you can't shoot a little rack or you can't shoot a big giant rack. They will arrest you, take your car, take your rifles in Freestone County. They're doing this in many other counties. There's plenty of deer. The deer are everywhere. Giant deer, little deer, everything. They've got what they call, I guess, the abnormal ones that have the giant racks. And they're saying you can't shoot something if it doesn't have a certain spread, which nobody can measure, or if it's a 4-point, you can't shoot it, but if it's a 3-point, you can. And there's just no way for people to know. Most of that deer hunting out there is done in brush. That's where the good deer are. They're smart and don't come out during deer season except at night. So you got to hunt in brush, and a lot of times you can see some big antlers and take your shot. And then they're not even they're trying to restrict doe permits for people to see. The power to tax is the power to destroy. A permit is an authorization to do something that's illegal. So they turn your right into a privilege. It's like 60-something years ago. I forget the exact date. It was in the 40s. New York City said, you still got your Second Amendment. You got to pay this, $5 licensing fee. It's a formality. People accepted that. A decade later or so, they said, okay, now you got to pay a big fee. It's bigger. And we're going to restrict who gets it. Until now, only a few hundred people have got firearms permits, and they're basically all mafia or corrupt Goldman Sachs employees. That was even in the Bloomberg a few weeks ago. They're all getting gun permits. So that's how they turn a right into a privilege. That's why I'm against concealed carry permits. You have a gun permit in Texas and Nevada and Arizona and Vermont under the Second Amendment. The state hasn't abridged it. But because under common law, concealed weapons are illegal. It's bearing arms, keep and bear arms. Good guys have them out in the open. So they're creating the custom and the general idea that you got to have a permit to own a gun. And all these Hollywood shows and cop shows based in New York and other places always show them busting people in fiction and nonfiction shows in New York or Chicago. And so you get a repair person at your house, they see a gun case, they go out and call the cops because they move here from New York or wherever, they think your guns are illegal. I've had this happen to me, okay, because people are so dumbed down. They have so the perception that guns are illegal is now out there. How many billboards have you seen in the last decade? More than a decade. I've seen the same variant, federally funded, the ad council with your tax money, billboards all over the country. I've been in Galveston, Texas. I've been in Dallas, Texas. I've been in Los Angeles, California. I've been in Chicago. I've been in Florida. I have been all over the country, not even looking for these, and I see them. And it shows a billboard, and it says, report illegal guns. And it's a picture or a graphic of a handgun pointed at you aggressively. It'll have the front cylinder with the bullets in it and the barrel aimed at you threateningly. It's all psychological. Or it'll have the gun turned sideways with a guy with a mask on. The image is criminals have guns. I've seen several different variants. You've seen them on the web. I've posted photos I took myself in Galveston. And in tiny fine print, you got to get right up under the billboard. I got 20/20 vision. You got to squint to read it. It says with an asterisk, when a gun is involved in illegal activity or in a crime. But the big message is report illegal guns. It's all about perception. I have distant family and people that have been at my house and who have seen a Nerf gun. I mean, it's great. We run around the backyard, the front yard, neighborhood kids have them. We have big Nerf battles. In fact, I plan to try to go home earlier today. My son's Nerf gun broke. The planned obsolescence, they break usually in a few months. So I'm going to go buy him and my daughter, because hers I'm sure will break soon, a new Nerf gun and some new Nerf bullets. We're going to go have a Nerf battle. Now, so-called liberal parents think that a gun in the hands of the citizens, even a toy gun, is a devilish, evil weapon. They're scared to death of it. I've told the story one time of a well-known newspaper writer, now a magazine writer, at my parents' house. I was in college, and the big gun case, I didn't keep my guns at home then. I went home to get a deer rifle. I pull up, say hi to him. I go in my parents' bedroom, do the combination, get a deer rifle out. There in the kitchen, he sees me walking by the doorway with a gun, and I hear like a shriek. And he says, is that a gun? And he starts getting up. He's all scared, white-faced. And I walk in, and I say, don't worry, it's .243 for small deer in Texas. It's unloaded. I opened it up. Lever action, Savage, first deer rifle my dad got back in the 50s. I said, look, this is, and he was, get out of here, please, get out of here. And he's not like what you think of as a cowardly person. He has imperial conditioning to be scared to death of a slave with a gun. Now, he sees cops, SWAT teams, dogs, helicopters, troops. He feels good. He sees a slave with a gun, he gets scared. And he said, please, just get out of here, please, please. And I left. But I've seen family where my kids are going bang, bang, playing outside at a family event, and they get scared to death of that and act like some great offense has been committed. That is imperial conditioning. We are turning into a domesticated jellyfish population that is being gelded. Now the kids can't play dodgeball. Then they can't play tag. Then they can't wrestle. Then they can't run. Most school districts have banned it. Now they can't even walk fast. Now some say they can't talk. They can't hug. They can't shake hands. They are the equivalent of Supermax prisoners. Now on the airplanes, you can't talk the last hour. You have to look straight forward. You can't cover your knees with a blanket. You may be a terrorist. You can have no electronic device, all because of some guy with a firecracker in his underwear. This is the domestication scientifically to train us to be defenseless and to be gelded and to be weak. So go out and take physical jiu-jitsu or taekwondo or whatever it is you like. Go take a boxing class. Go buy firearms. Take some safety courses. Get proficient with it. Store your firearms properly. But we need a culture of liberty. It's like this Times of London story, and I've got similar articles out of the U.S. Children reaching age 3 without being able to say a word survey finds. Now the government's going to get involved. Because of TV and the culture and the parents never being home, the children can't even talk. They're dumbing us down into mindless idiots. We'll be right back. That's right. We beat the Copenhagen scam. We got a long way to go and a short time to get there, but we're going to do it. Put your foot down on the pedal. Crank it up. So never mind them brakes. Let it all hang out because we got to run to me. The boys are thirsty in Atlanta at the beer at Texarkana. We're not running a truckload of Coors Light here, folks. We're running a truckload of liberty and freedom in the info war. You know, I've said it over and over again, and I'll say it again. The best thing we can do in the fight against the New World Order is get my documentary films. They're the most effective, the most powerful, the most accurate, and they wake people up. Fall the Republic, Endgame, Terror Storm, Truth Rising. You don't have to buy one of them. They're all in decent quality on YouTube and Google. Take those URL links and email them every day out to your friends, your family, your neighbors. They are waking people up. Or support us, buy the high-quality DVDs. Got incredibly low prices at Infowars.com. You can get free films, free T-shirts. That's also how you support us. Get those DVD duplicators. Get a PrisonPlanet.tv membership. Burn the films on DivX onto CDs. Give them to everybody. PrisonPlanet.tv. Let's take a few more calls, and I'm going to continue with the financial and global news. Let's go ahead and talk to John in Texas, then Mordecai, Rick, Mark. Oh, Mark in Switzerland. I'm going to skip ahead to him in a minute. John in Tejas, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. Hey, I have a comment to make concerning a statement that your last guest had made.
That's and Lord Moncton?
Right. He was encouraging everybody to call the representatives and to let them know, hey, if we have to have world governance, let's have it, elect them. And I know it's pretty obvious for, I think, most Americans and definitely your listeners. Here in the United States, with our local, state, and federal politicians, we're having hard enough time trying to get honest people elected as it is.
Yeah, John, I think you're missing the point. He said we're obviously against it. It's tyrannical. The issue is they couldn't get the countries to sign on, even though that was a fraud. Now they're just doing it. It's open tyranny. That way you educate people along what's really happening. You understand? I mean, we're pointing out that we're going into global governance and government without even being able to vote on it.
No, I understand. That's fine. But it just, I think any form of global governance, people should fight against it worldwide.
Yes. National sovereignty is a firewall against tyranny, and no one wants global government, neither does Lord Monckton. It was a debate tool, and I agree with him to say, look, if we're going to have this, we should be able to vote on it. We should decide if we want to be part of it. But I hear you, and I appreciate your call, John. Mordecai in Israel. Got callers from all over the place, and then Mark in Switzerland.